feel overwhelmed by mental chaos? The audiobook, The Self-Organized Mind, Systems Thinking to Master an Unruly Mind, offers a revolutionary approach that leverages the power of the systems thinking methodology to master your thoughts and emotions. Discover how to transform internal disorder into clarity, achieve lasting mental harmony, and navigate life's challenges effortlessly. Don't let an unruly mind stop you from reaching your full potential. Unlock the secret to a more balanced, resilient, and purposeful life. Your path to mental mastery begins here. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1. Embracing Chaos. Imagine your mind as a bustling city, teeming with activity, noise, and constant motion. Thoughts dart through the streets like impatient drivers, emotions swirl like unpredictable weather patterns, and memories pop up like unexpected street performances. This mental metropolis is your reality, a vibrant yet chaotic landscape that often feels overwhelming and unmanageable. But what if you could transform this chaos into a harmonious symphony of order and clarity? What if you possessed the tools to navigate this complex terrain with confidence and purpose? The human mind is inherently chaotic. It's a whirlwind of competing thoughts, conflicting emotions, and a constant influx of sensory information. This internal disorder is not a flaw or a weakness. It's a fundamental characteristic of our cognitive landscape. Yet, in a world that demands focus, productivity, and emotional stability, this natural chaos can feel like a significant obstacle. Enter systems thinking, a powerful approach that offers a fresh perspective on managing the complexity of our minds. Systems thinking is not about imposing rigid control or suppressing the natural ebb and flow of our thoughts and emotions. Instead, it's about understanding the interconnected nature of our mental processes and leveraging this understanding to bring about order and clarity. At its core, systems thinking is a way of seeing the world as a collection of interconnected elements that form coherent wholes. It's about recognizing patterns, understanding relationships, and identifying the underlying structures that shape behavior. When applied to the mind, systems thinking provides a framework for understanding how our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors interact and influence each other. The fundamentals of systems thinking encompass several key concepts. First is interconnectedness, the idea that all parts of a system are linked, often in subtle and non-obvious ways. In the context of our minds, this means recognizing that our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are not isolated events, but are constantly influencing and being influenced by each other. Next are feedback loops, the cyclical processes through which information flows through a system, amplifying or dampening certain behaviors. Our minds are full of these loops. Think of how a positive thought can lead to positive actions, which in turn reinforce the positive thought. Understanding these loops can help us break negative cycles and reinforce positive ones. Leverage points are another crucial concept in systems thinking. These are places within a system where a small change can lead to significant alterations in the system's behavior. In our mental landscape, identifying these leverage points can help us make targeted interventions that have outsized effects on our overall mental state. Nonlinear dynamics refer to the idea that in complex systems, cause and effect are not always proportional. A small input can sometimes lead to a large output, or vice versa. This concept helps explain why sometimes a minor shift in perspective can lead to a major breakthrough in our thinking or emotional state. Finally, emergence describes how complex behaviors and patterns can arise from relatively simple interactions within a system. This concept can help us understand how our overall mental state emerges from the interplay of our individual thoughts and emotions. By embracing these principles of systems thinking, we can begin to see our minds not as chaotic battlegrounds, but as complex, dynamic systems that can be understood and influenced. This shift in perspective is the first step towards mastering an unruly mind. But why start with chaos? Why not jump straight into techniques for ordering our thoughts and emotions? The answer lies in the nature of change itself. To truly transform something, we must first understand and accept it as it is. By acknowledging the inherent disorder in our minds, we free ourselves from the frustration of constantly fighting against our nature. We can then channel our energy into working with this chaos rather than against it. Embracing chaos as a starting point also allows us to tap into its creative potential. Chaos is not merely disorder, it's also a wellspring of novelty and innovation. By learning to navigate the chaos of our minds, we can access new ideas, unexpected connections, and fresh perspectives that might otherwise remain hidden. The journey towards a self-organized mind begins with 3 key steps. First, we must understand the natural chaos of the mind. This involves observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment, recognizing their fleeting nature, and accepting their sometimes contradictory or irrational character. Second, we introduce the concept of systems thinking as a tool for understanding and managing this chaos. This step involves learning the fundamental principles of systems thinking and how they apply to our mental processes. Finally, we begin to apply these concepts to our own minds, viewing our thoughts and emotions as part of a larger system that can be influenced and guided. This sequence is crucial. Understanding chaos provides the foundation, systems thinking offers the tools, and application ensures real change. Each step builds upon the previous one, allowing for a gradual and sustainable transformation of our mental landscape. As we embark on this journey, it's important to understand what you can expect to achieve. In the short term, you'll gain immediate clarity about the nature of your mind and how systems thinking can help organize it. You'll establish an initial framework for applying systems thinking to your thoughts and emotions, providing a roadmap for future growth and development. Over time, as you continue to apply these principles, you can expect to achieve a more consistent state of mental clarity and order. Your ability to regulate your emotions will improve, reducing the impact of mental chaos on your daily life. You'll develop a deeper understanding of your own mental processes, allowing you to navigate challenges with greater ease and resilience. The concept of viewing the mind as a dynamic system is a powerful one. It shifts our perspective from seeing our thoughts and emotions as fixed entities to recognizing them as fluid, interconnected processes that can be influenced and guided. This view opens up new possibilities for personal growth and self-mastery. As we conclude this introduction to embracing chaos and systems thinking, you might be wondering how to put these concepts into practice. How can you start to see the patterns in your own mental chaos? What specific techniques can you use to apply systems thinking to your daily life? The journey ahead is filled with intriguing possibilities. In the coming chapters, we'll explore various strategies and approaches for mastering your unruly mind. From recognizing nonlinearities to balancing short-term and long-term perspectives, each chapter will build upon the foundation we've laid here. As we move forward, prepare to delve deeper into the fascinating world of systems thinking and its application to personal development. The next step in our journey involves a surprising twist, one that challenges our conventional understanding of cause and effect in our mental processes. Are you ready to discover how small changes can lead to profound transformations in your mental landscape? Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Recognize Nonlinearities. Have you ever noticed how sometimes the smallest change in your routine can lead to an unexpectedly large shift in your mood or productivity? Perhaps you've experienced a day where everything seems to fall into place simply because you woke up a few minutes earlier than usual. Or maybe you found that a minor adjustment in your perspective completely transformed your approach to a long-standing problem. These experiences hint at a fascinating aspect of our mental landscape, one that challenges our intuitive understanding of cause and effect. As we delve deeper into the world of systems thinking and its application to mastering our minds, we encounter a concept that at first might seem counterintuitive, yet holds the key to unlocking profound personal growth. This concept, known as nonlinearity, is a fundamental characteristic of complex systems, including our own minds. But what exactly do we mean by nonlinearity? In simple terms, nonlinearity refers to situations where the relationship between cause and effect is not proportional or predictable. In a linear system, you might expect that doubling your effort would lead to doubling your results. However, in a nonlinear system, a small change can lead to disproportionately large effects, or conversely, a significant effort might yield only minor results. Understanding nonlinearities is crucial when applying systems thinking to master our minds. It helps us recognize that our mental states and behaviors are not always the result of grand, sweeping changes, but can often be influenced by small, seemingly insignificant adjustments. This realization can be both empowering and humbling, as it suggests that we have more control over our mental states than we might think, but also that our efforts may not always yield predictable results. Consider the process of habit formation. Traditional wisdom might suggest that forming a new habit requires Herculean effort and ironclad willpower. However, when we understand nonlinear dynamics, we see that this isn't necessarily the case. Small, consistent actions can compound over time, leading to significant changes in behavior and mindset. For instance, imagine deciding to meditate for just 1 minute each day. It seems almost trivially easy, doesn't it? But this small commitment can set off a chain reaction of positive effects. As you consistently meet this tiny goal, you build self-trust and confidence. You might find yourself naturally extending the duration of your meditation over time. The brief moments of mindfulness might spill over into other areas of your life, influencing how you respond to stress or interact with others. Before you know it, this 1-minute habit has blossomed into a transformative practice, reshaping your mental landscape in ways you couldn't have predicted. This is the power of recognizing nonlinearities in personal development. By understanding that small changes can lead to big shifts, we can focus our efforts more effectively, targeting those areas where minimal input can yield maximal output. But how do we identify these leverage points in our own lives? How can we recognize where a small change might create a large impact? The key lies in careful observation and experimentation. Pay attention to those moments when a minor shift in your routine or perspective seems to have an outsized effect on your mental state or productivity. These are clues pointing towards potential leverage points. One practical way to apply this concept is through the cultivation of micro-habits. These are tiny, almost effortless behaviors that you can easily integrate into your daily routine. The beauty of micro-habits lies in their simplicity and low barrier to entry. Because they require minimal effort to maintain, you're more likely to stick with them consistently. And it's this consistency that allows the nonlinear effects to compound over time. For example, you might decide to write down 3 things you're grateful for each night before bed. This takes less than a minute, but over time, it can significantly shift your focus towards the positive aspects of your life, potentially improving your overall mood and outlook. Or perhaps you choose to do 5 push-ups every time you enter your bedroom. This small action, repeated consistently, could not only improve your physical fitness, but also boost your self-discipline and self-esteem. Another powerful tool for recognizing nonlinearities in your personal development is reflective journaling. By regularly tracking your mental states and the actions that precede them, you can start to identify patterns and correlations that might not be immediately obvious. You might discover that a good night's sleep has a disproportionately large impact on your productivity the next day, or that a brief morning walk significantly reduces your stress levels throughout the day. As you engage in this process of observation and experimentation, it's important to remain patient and open-minded. The effects of nonlinear dynamics aren't always immediate or obvious. Sometimes, the impact of a small change might only become apparent after weeks or months of consistent practice. This is where many people falter, becoming impatient with their perceived lack of progress and abandoning their efforts prematurely. Remember, you're dealing with complex systems, your mind and your life. And complex systems often exhibit what's known as delayed feedback. This means that the effects of your actions might not be immediately visible, but are nonetheless accumulating beneath the surface, ready to manifest when a certain threshold is reached. So what can you expect as you begin to recognize and leverage nonlinearities in your personal development journey? The outcomes can range from good to truly transformative. At a minimum, you're likely to notice improvements in specific areas of your mental and emotional well-being. You might find yourself better able to manage stress, more consistently motivated, or simply more aware of your thought patterns and emotional responses. As you continue to apply these principles, you may experience significant positive shifts in your overall mental clarity and resilience. The cumulative effect of multiple small changes can lead to a more stable, balanced mental state, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and confidence. In the best-case scenario, recognizing nonlinearities can lead to major transformations in your thought patterns and emotional regulation. You might find yourself breaking free from long-standing negative habits, developing new capabilities you never thought possible, or experiencing a profound shift in your overall outlook on life. These changes, once they take root, can lead to lasting personal growth that extends far beyond the initial small actions that set them in motion. Of course, as with any approach to personal development, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of. One common mistake is overlooking the impact of small changes, focusing instead on grand, sweeping gestures that might actually be less effective. Another pitfall is becoming impatient with progress, expecting immediate results from what is often a gradual, nonlinear process. To avoid these pitfalls, it's crucial to remain patient and committed to your chosen micro-habits and small changes. Regularly review your progress, not just in terms of the specific habits you're cultivating, but also in terms of your overall mental and emotional well-being. Be prepared to adjust your approach as needed, always remaining open to the possibility that the most effective changes might be the ones you least expect. As we conclude this exploration of nonlinearities, you might find yourself looking at your daily routines and habits in a new light. What small changes might you implement that could lead to significant shifts in your mental landscape? How might you leverage the power of nonlinear dynamics to catalyze your personal growth? The journey of mastering your mind through systems thinking is full of surprises and unexpected connections. As we move forward, we'll encounter another crucial aspect of this approach, one that challenges our natural inclinations and offers a new perspective on how we navigate the complex terrain of our minds. Are you ready to explore the delicate balance between the immediate and the distant, the urgent and the important? The next chapter holds the key to unlocking a powerful strategy for mental mastery, one that might just revolutionize how you approach your personal development journey. Chapter 3. Balance short-term and long-term perspectives. Imagine standing on a high cliff overlooking a vast landscape. In the immediate foreground, you see the intricate details of rocks, plants, and insects at your feet. In the distance, you observe rolling hills, winding rivers, and the hazy outline of mountains on the horizon. Both views are crucial for understanding the complete picture of the landscape before you. Now, consider your mind as this landscape. How often do you focus solely on the immediate details, losing sight of the broader vista? Or conversely, how frequently do you find yourself dreaming of distant peaks while neglecting the ground beneath your feet? In our journey to master the unruly mind through systems thinking, we now encounter a concept that challenges us to expand our perspective. It's an approach that asks us to be simultaneously present in the moment and mindful of the future. This balancing act is not just a neat trick of perception, it's a fundamental skill for creating a stable and flourishing mental environment. But why is this balance so crucial? To understand this, we need to delve deeper into how our minds naturally operate. Human beings are wired for immediacy. Our brains evolved to respond quickly to immediate threats and opportunities, a trait that served our ancestors well in survival situations. This tendency towards short-term thinking still influences us today, often leading us to prioritize immediate gratification over long-term benefits. In the context of our mental landscape, this short-term bias can manifest in various ways. We might procrastinate on important but non-urgent tasks, choosing instead to focus on immediately rewarding activities. We might react impulsively to emotional triggers, neglecting the long-term consequences of our actions. Or we might become so caught up in day-to-day challenges that we lose sight of our broader life goals and aspirations. This is where the pitfall of short-termism becomes apparent. When we consistently prioritize immediate needs and desires over long-term objectives, we risk creating a mental environment that's reactive rather than proactive, chaotic rather than ordered. We might find ourselves constantly putting out fires, never finding the time or energy to build the life we truly desire. However, it's equally important to recognize that focusing exclusively on long-term goals isn't the answer either. Neglecting immediate needs and experiences can lead to burnout, dissatisfaction, and a sense of disconnection from the present moment. The key lies in finding a balance, a way to address immediate concerns while still progressing towards long-term aspirations. This is where systems thinking offers a powerful framework. By viewing our mind as a complex system with interconnected parts operating across different timescales, we can develop strategies to create harmony between our short-term actions and long-term goals. One effective approach is what I call future mapping. This involves creating a clear vision of your long-term goals and then working backwards to identify the short-term actions that will lead you there. It's like planning a road trip. You decide on your final destination, then map out the route, including all the stops and turns along the way. To put this into practice, start by visualizing where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. What does your ideal life look like? What kind of person do you want to become? Be as specific and vivid as possible in this visualization. Once you have this long-term vision, begin to break it down into smaller, more immediate goals. What can you achieve in the next year that will move you closer to this vision? What about in the next month or even the next week? This process helps create a bridge between your present actions and your future aspirations. It allows you to see how the small steps you take today can contribute to significant changes over time. Moreover, it provides a context for your daily activities, infusing them with purpose and meaning. However, future mapping is just one part of the equation. The other crucial aspect is learning to balance immediate needs with long-term objectives. This involves developing the ability to prioritize tasks and make decisions that serve both your present well-being and your future goals. One practical way to achieve this balance is through what I call goal alignment mapping. This exercise involves creating a visual representation of how your daily activities align with your long-term goals. Start by listing your major long-term objectives. Then, for each activity in your typical day, consider how it relates to these objectives. Does it directly contribute to a long-term goal? Does it provide necessary rest or enjoyment that indirectly supports your goals? Or is it a distraction that pulls you away from your aspirations? This mapping process can be eye-opening. You might discover that certain activities you thought were important are actually not aligned with your long-term vision. Conversely, you might find that some seemingly mundane tasks are crucial stepping stones towards your goals. The aim isn't to eliminate all activities that don't directly contribute to long-term goals. After all, rest, relaxation, and spontaneity are important for mental well-being. Rather, the goal is to create awareness and intentionality in how you spend your time and energy. Another valuable practice is conducting a weekly review. Set aside time each week to reflect on your actions and decisions. Ask yourself, how well did I balance short-term needs with long-term goals this week? Were there moments when I sacrificed long-term progress for short-term gratification? Were there times when I neglected immediate needs in pursuit of future goals? Use these reflections to adjust your approach for the coming week. As you begin to implement these practices, you'll likely notice some immediate benefits. You might experience a reduction in stress as you gain clarity on how your daily actions connect to your broader life goals. You may find it easier to make decisions and prioritize tasks, knowing that you're considering both immediate needs and long-term aspirations. With consistent practice, the outcomes can be truly transformative. You might develop a balanced approach to life that allows you to enjoy the present moment while still making steady progress towards your dreams. This balance can foster a sense of fulfillment and purpose as you experience both immediate satisfaction and the excitement of working towards meaningful long-term goals. In the best-case scenario, this approach can lead to a life where your short-term efforts consistently and naturally support your long-term aspirations. You might find yourself effortlessly making choices that align with your values and goals, experiencing a sense of flow and purpose in your daily life. This alignment can result in sustained personal growth, as each day builds upon the last, creating a positive momentum towards your ideal future. Of course, maintaining this balance is not always easy. One common pitfall is falling back into the trap of short-term thinking, especially during times of stress or when faced with immediate challenges. Another risk is becoming so focused on long-term goals that you neglect to enjoy the present moment or take care of immediate needs. To avoid these pitfalls, it's crucial to regularly reassess your priorities and check in with yourself. Are you still moving in the direction of your long-term goals? Are you taking care of your immediate needs and finding joy in the present moment? Be prepared to adjust your approach as needed, recognizing that finding the right balance is an ongoing process, not a one-time achievement. As we conclude this exploration of balancing short-term and long-term perspectives, you might find yourself looking at your daily life with new eyes. How might you start aligning your immediate actions with your long-term aspirations? What would a well-balanced mental landscape look like for you? The journey of mastering your mind through systems thinking continues to unfold, revealing new layers of complexity and opportunity. As we move forward, we'll encounter a powerful tool for understanding the recurring patterns in our thoughts and behaviors. This next concept might just be the key to unlocking deep insights into your mental processes, offering a new lens through which to view your habitual responses and ingrained beliefs. Are you ready to discover the hidden structures that shape your mental world? The next chapter holds the promise of a revelation that could fundamentally change how you understand and navigate your inner landscape. Chapter 4. Apply Systems Archetypes. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a mental loop, repeating the same patterns of thought or behavior over and over again? Perhaps you've noticed how a small worry can snowball into overwhelming anxiety, or how a moment of success can fuel a streak of productivity. These recurring patterns in our mental landscape are not random occurrences. They are manifestations of deeper structures that shape our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in predictable ways. As we continue our journey of mastering the unruly mind through systems thinking, we now encounter a powerful concept that can help us decode these persistent patterns. This concept offers us a set of lenses through which we can view our mental processes, revealing the hidden dynamics that drive our recurring thoughts and behaviors. But what exactly are these lenses, and how can they help us gain mastery over our minds? To answer this question, we need to delve into the world of systems archetypes. These archetypes are like the recurring plot lines in stories or the common melodies in music. They are fundamental patterns that appear again and again in various systems, including the complex system of our minds. Systems archetypes are not abstract theories divorced from reality. They are practical tools that can help us understand and navigate the complexities of our mental landscape. By recognizing these archetypes in our own thoughts and behaviors, we gain the power to intervene effectively, breaking negative cycles and reinforcing positive ones. Consider for a moment a time when you've fallen into a spiral of negative thinking. Perhaps a small setback at work led to self-doubt, which in turn affected your performance, leading to more setbacks and even greater self-doubt. This is an example of a reinforcing loop, one of the most common systems archetypes. In this case, it's a negative feedback loop where each iteration of the cycle amplifies the problem. But reinforcing loops aren't always negative. Think about those times when you've been in a state of flow where success breeds confidence, leading to even greater success. This is a positive feedback loop, another type of reinforcing archetype that can propel us towards our goals. Understanding these archetypes allows us to see our mental processes not as isolated events, but as part of larger, interconnected patterns. This shift in perspective is crucial for mastering our minds. It moves us from being passive recipients of our thoughts and emotions to active participants in shaping our mental landscape. Another common archetype in personal development is the balancing loop, often manifested as homeostasis. This is the tendency of a system to maintain stability by resisting change. In our minds, this might show up as resistance to new habits or difficulty in shifting long-held beliefs. Recognizing this archetype can help us understand why change can be so challenging, even when we consciously desire it. But how do we apply this knowledge in practical terms? How can we use these archetypes to create real change in our lives? The first step is to become adept at identifying these patterns in our own thoughts and behaviors. This requires cultivating a habit of self-observation and reflection. One effective tool for this is feedback loop mapping. This involves tracing the connections between your thoughts, emotions, and actions to identify recurring patterns. Start by choosing a specific behavior or emotional state you'd like to understand better. Then, work backwards to identify the thoughts and events that typically precede it. Look for connections and reinforcing patterns. Does a certain thought always lead to a particular emotion? Does that emotion trigger a specific behavior? By mapping out these connections, you can start to see the underlying structure of your mental patterns. Once you've identified a pattern, the next step is to develop strategies for intervention. If you've recognized a negative reinforcing loop, for instance, your goal would be to break that cycle. This might involve introducing a new thought or action at a critical point in the loop to disrupt its progression. For example, if you've identified a loop where self-criticism leads to decreased effort, which in turn leads to poor performance and more self-criticism, you might introduce a new step of self-compassion after the initial self-critical thought. This new element can help break the negative cycle and potentially turn it into a more positive loop. On the other hand, if you've identified a positive reinforcing loop, your goal would be to strengthen and maintain it. This might involve consciously acknowledging and celebrating small successes to reinforce the positive cycle. When dealing with balancing loops like homeostasis, the key is to work with the system rather than against it. Instead of trying to force dramatic change, which the system will resist, focus on making small, consistent adjustments that can shift the system's equilibrium over time. To put these ideas into practice, try this exercise. Spend a week observing your thoughts and behaviors, looking for recurring patterns. At the end of the week, try to identify the most common systems archetypes at play in your life. How do these archetypes affect your thinking and behavior? Are there any patterns you'd like to change? Next, choose one pattern you'd like to work on and develop a strategy for intervention. If it's a negative reinforcing loop, where could you introduce a new element to break the cycle? If it's a positive loop, how could you reinforce and strengthen it? If it's a balancing loop resisting change, how could you work with it to gradually shift your equilibrium? As you begin to apply systems archetypes to your mental landscape, you'll likely notice some immediate benefits. You may experience an enhanced awareness of your mental patterns and their impact on your life. This awareness alone can be powerful, as it allows you to step back from your thoughts and emotions, viewing them with greater objectivity. With continued practice, you may develop the ability to break negative patterns and reinforce positive ones. This can lead to significant improvements in your emotional well-being and your ability to achieve your goals. You might find yourself less prone to falling into destructive thought patterns and more capable of maintaining positive momentum. In the best-case scenario, applying systems archetypes can lead to a mastery over recurring mental and emotional patterns. This doesn't mean you'll never experience negative thoughts or emotions. Rather, it means you'll have the tools to navigate these experiences effectively, maintaining a more organized and balanced mind even in the face of challenges. Of course, as with any powerful tool, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of when working with systems archetypes. One common mistake is misidentifying archetypes, which can lead to ineffective or counterproductive interventions. Another risk is becoming overly rigid in your application of these concepts, trying to force every mental experience into a predefined archetype. To avoid these pitfalls, it's important to maintain a flexible and curious mindset. Regularly seek feedback, either through self-reflection or by discussing your observations with trusted friends or a mental health professional. Be willing to review and refine your approach as you gain more experience and insight. As we conclude this exploration of systems archetypes, you might find yourself looking at your thoughts and behaviors in a new light. What patterns might you discover if you start observing your mental landscape through this lens? How might understanding these archetypes change the way you approach personal growth and self-improvement? The journey of mastering your mind through systems thinking continues to unfold, revealing new depths of insight and possibility. As we move forward, we'll encounter a concept that challenges us to look beyond the surface of our mental experiences. This next idea invites us to explore the hidden vulnerabilities and untapped strengths within our mental system. Are you prepared to delve into the unseen currents that shape your mental resilience? The next chapter holds the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of your mind's capacity for growth and adaptation in the face of challenges. Chapter 5. Analyze systemic risks. Imagine your mind as a vast, intricate network of interconnected pathways. Each thought, emotion, and behavior is a node in this network, linked to countless others in ways that aren't always immediately apparent. Now, picture this network as a living, dynamic system, constantly adapting and responding to both internal and external stimuli. In such a complex system, how do we ensure stability? How do we protect ourselves from potential breakdowns or disruptions that could ripple through our entire mental landscape? As we continue our journey of mastering the unruly mind through systems thinking, we now turn our attention to a critical aspect of mental well-being that often goes overlooked. It's an approach that asks us to peer into the shadows of our psyche, to identify potential weak points before they become actual problems. This proactive stance towards our mental health is not about paranoia or constant vigilance. Rather, it's about developing a deep understanding of our mental ecosystem and learning to nurture its resilience. But what exactly are we looking for in this exploration? What hidden factors could potentially disrupt our mental equilibrium? To answer these questions, we need to delve into the concept of systemic risks. These are not your everyday worries or concerns. Systemic risks are potential threats that could have far-reaching consequences, affecting multiple aspects of our mental and emotional well-being. In the context of our minds, systemic risks might manifest in various ways. It could be a deeply ingrained belief that undermines your self-worth across multiple areas of your life. Or perhaps it's a habitual response to stress that, left unchecked, could lead to burnout or mental health issues. These risks are systemic because their impact isn't isolated. They have the potential to cascade through your entire mental system, affecting your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in profound ways. Understanding and identifying these risks is crucial for maintaining mental stability. It's like being the caretaker of a complex ecosystem. By understanding the potential threats to the system, we can take proactive measures to protect it, ensuring its continued health and vitality. So how do we go about identifying these risks in our own mental landscape? The first step is to develop a practice of mindful self-observation. This involves regularly taking stock of your mental and emotional states, noting patterns, triggers, and recurring challenges. Pay attention to those moments when you feel particularly vulnerable or unstable. What preceded these moments? What thoughts or external factors seem to trigger them? As you engage in this practice, you might start to notice certain vulnerabilities in your mental system. Perhaps you realize that you're particularly susceptible to self-doubt in certain situations, or that specific types of interactions tend to trigger anxiety or anger. These observations are the beginning of what we call risk mapping, a process of identifying and understanding the potential weak points in your mental and emotional systems. Risk mapping isn't about cataloging every possible thing that could go wrong. Rather, it's about identifying those key areas where you're most vulnerable, the points where a small disruption could potentially lead to larger issues. Think of it as creating a topographical map of your mental landscape, noting the areas prone to landslides or floods. Once you've begun to identify these risks, the next step is to develop mitigation strategies. This is where the real power of systems thinking comes into play. Instead of simply reacting to problems as they arise, we can develop contingency plans and build resilience into our mental systems. For example, if you've identified that work-related stress is a significant risk factor for your mental well-being, your mitigation strategy might involve a combination of stress management techniques, boundary-setting practices, and regular self-care routines. The goal is to build a multi-layered defense system that can help you navigate challenges more effectively. To put these ideas into practice, try this exercise. Spend a week conducting a thorough risk assessment of your mental and emotional life. Pay attention to your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, noting any patterns or triggers that seem to consistently lead to negative outcomes. Don't judge or try to change anything at this point. Simply observe and record. At the end of the week, review your observations. Can you identify any recurring themes or patterns? Are there specific situations, thoughts, or external factors that consistently seem to disrupt your mental equilibrium? These are your potential systemic risks. Next, for each risk you've identified, develop a contingency plan. What steps could you take to mitigate this risk? What resources or skills might you need to develop to better handle these challenges? Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all risks. That's neither possible nor desirable. Instead, focus on building your capacity to navigate these risks effectively. As you begin to apply this approach to analyzing systemic risks in your mental landscape, you're likely to notice some immediate benefits. You may find that you have an improved awareness of potential challenges, allowing you to anticipate and prepare for them more effectively. This awareness alone can be empowering, reducing the sense of being blindsided by emotional upheavals or mental struggles. With continued practice, you may develop stronger mental resilience and an enhanced ability to navigate challenges. You might find that situations that once threw you off balance now feel more manageable. This isn't because the challenges themselves have changed, but because you've developed a more robust system for dealing with them. In the best-case scenario, this approach can lead to a proactive stance towards mental well-being. Instead of constantly reacting to crises, you're able to maintain a more stable mental state, minimizing risks and maximizing your overall sense of well-being. This doesn't mean you'll never face difficulties or emotional upheavals. Rather, it means you'll have the tools and strategies in place to navigate these challenges more effectively, maintaining your mental equilibrium even in the face of significant stressors. Of course, as with any powerful tool, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of when analyzing systemic risks. One common mistake is becoming overly focused on potential risks, leading to anxiety or paralysis. Another danger is ignoring or underestimating risks, particularly those that don't seem immediately threatening. To avoid these pitfalls, it's important to maintain a balanced perspective. Regularly update your risk assessments, but don't let them dominate your thoughts. Focus on building general resilience and coping skills alongside specific risk mitigation strategies. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate all risks, but to build a mental system that's robust enough to handle whatever challenges arise. As we conclude this exploration of systemic risks, you might find yourself looking at your mental landscape with new eyes. What hidden vulnerabilities might you discover if you start mapping the risks in your mental system? How might understanding these risks change the way you approach your mental health and personal growth? The journey of mastering your mind through systems thinking continues to unfold, revealing new dimensions of self-understanding and personal development. As we move forward, we'll encounter a concept that challenges us to look beyond our individual mental systems and consider our place in the larger web of human interaction. This next idea invites us to explore the ethical dimensions of our thoughts and actions, considering how our mental processes impact not just ourselves, but those around us. Are you ready to examine the moral landscape of your mind? The next chapter holds the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of how our mental systems interact with the world around us, potentially reshaping your perspective on personal growth and social responsibility. Chapter 6. Align Actions with Integrity. As we journey deeper into the realm of mastering our minds through systems thinking, we encounter a dimension that extends beyond the boundaries of our individual psyche. It's a concept that challenges us to consider not just the efficacy of our thoughts and actions, but their rightness. This idea invites us to explore the subtle yet powerful interplay between our inner world and the broader tapestry of human experience. Imagine for a moment that your mind is not just a private sanctuary, but a microcosm of the larger world. Every thought you nurture, every decision you make, sends ripples outward, influencing not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. In this light, the process of mastering your mind takes on a new significance. It becomes not just a personal endeavor, but a responsibility to the wider community of which you are a part. But what does this responsibility look like in practice? How can we ensure that as we work to organize and optimize our minds, we're doing so in a way that contributes positively to the world around us? These questions lead us to a crucial aspect of systems thinking that often goes overlooked in discussions of personal development: the role of ethics. When we talk about ethics in the context of systems thinking, we're not just referring to a set of rigid rules or abstract philosophical concepts. Instead, we're talking about a dynamic, interconnected web of values and principles that guide our actions and shape our interactions with the world. This systems-based approach to ethics recognizes that our moral choices don't exist in isolation, but are part of a larger, complex system of cause and effect. Understanding this systemic nature of ethics is crucial for anyone seeking to master their mind. It helps us recognize that our personal growth and development don't occur in a vacuum. Every step we take on our journey of self-improvement has the potential to impact others, either directly or indirectly. By aligning our actions with a strong ethical framework, we not only enhance our own mental clarity and sense of purpose, but also contribute to the well-being of the broader systems we're part of. But how do we go about aligning our actions with our ethical principles? The first step is to gain clarity on what those principles actually are. This process, often referred to as values clarification, involves deep reflection on what truly matters to you. What principles do you hold dear? What kind of person do you aspire to be? What impact do you want to have on the world? These aren't easy questions to answer, and your responses may evolve over time. The key is to approach this process with honesty and openness, allowing yourself to explore your values without judgment. You might find it helpful to think about people you admire and what qualities they embody, or to reflect on moments in your life when you felt most aligned with your true self. Once you've gained some clarity on your core values, the next step is to develop a framework for applying these principles to your daily life and decision-making processes. This is where the concept of an ethics check comes into play. An ethics check is a mental tool you can use to evaluate your thoughts and actions against your ethical principles. Here's how it might work in practice. Before making a significant decision or taking an important action, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, does this align with my core values? How might this action impact others? If everyone made this choice, what would the world look like? These questions can help you navigate complex situations with greater clarity and integrity. To put these ideas into practice, try this exercise. Take some time to identify and articulate your core values. Write them down, and for each one, provide a brief explanation of why it's important to you. Then, over the next week, practice applying your ethics check to your daily decisions and actions. At the end of each day, reflect on how well your choices aligned with your values. Were there moments when you felt particularly in tune with your principles? Were there situations where you found it challenging to act in alignment with your values? As you engage in this process, you may find yourself facing ethical dilemmas, situations where different values seem to be in conflict, or where the ethically right choice isn't immediately clear. These moments, while challenging, are opportunities for growth and deeper self-understanding. They invite us to grapple with the complexities of real-world ethics and to refine our moral compass. When faced with such dilemmas, it can be helpful to have a more structured ethical decision-making framework. This might involve steps like clearly defining the ethical issue at hand, considering the potential consequences of different actions, evaluating the options against your core values, and consulting with trusted mentors or ethical guidelines in your field. As you begin to more consciously align your actions with your ethical principles, you're likely to notice some immediate benefits. You may experience an increased awareness of ethical considerations in your decision-making processes. This awareness can lead to a greater sense of intentionality in your actions and a clearer understanding of your motivations. With continued practice, you may find that there's a strong alignment between your actions and your values, leading to a greater sense of personal integrity. This alignment can be incredibly empowering. It can reduce internal conflict and provide a sense of coherence and purpose to your life. You may find that you're better able to stand firm in your convictions, even in the face of external pressures or challenges. In the best-case scenario, this ethical alignment can become a guiding force in your life. Imagine a life where your ethical principles naturally inform all your actions, where you're able to navigate complex situations with clarity and confidence. This doesn't mean you'll never face difficult decisions or make mistakes, but it does mean that you'll have a strong internal compass to guide you, leading to deeper mental clarity and a profound sense of self-respect. Of course, as with any aspect of personal development, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of when working to align your actions with your ethical principles. One common challenge is the difficulty of maintaining integrity under pressure. In the heat of the moment, it can be tempting to compromise our values for short-term gain or to avoid discomfort. Another potential pitfall is becoming rigid or dogmatic in our ethical stance, losing the ability to empathize with others or adapt to complex, nuanced situations. Ethics, like any aspect of systems thinking, requires flexibility and a willingness to consider multiple perspectives. To navigate these challenges, it's crucial to regularly revisit and refine your ethical framework. Use your ethics check not just to evaluate individual decisions, but to reflect on your overall patterns of behavior. Are there areas where you consistently struggle to align your actions with your values? What additional support or resources might you need to bridge that gap? Don't hesitate to seek support from trusted mentors, peers, or ethical frameworks in your field. Ethics is not a solitary pursuit. It's enriched by dialogue, diverse perspectives, and shared wisdom. By engaging with others, you can refine your ethical reasoning skills and gain new insights into complex moral issues. As we conclude this exploration of aligning actions with integrity, you might find yourself looking at your choices and behaviors in a new light. How might a more conscious integration of ethics into your decision-making process change the way you navigate your personal and professional life? What new possibilities might open up as you align your actions more closely with your deepest values? The journey of mastering your mind through systems thinking continues to unfold, revealing new depths of self-understanding and personal growth. As we move forward, we'll encounter a concept that challenges our very notion of effort and control. This next idea invites us to explore a paradoxical approach to personal mastery, one that requires us to loosen our grip even as we seek greater influence over our mental landscape. Are you ready to discover a path of effortless action that could revolutionize your approach to self-development? The next chapter holds the key to unlocking a state of flow and natural alignment that might just transform your understanding of what it means to master your mind. Chapter 7. Embrace the Taoist concept of Wu Wei. As we journey deeper into the realm of mastering our minds through systems thinking, we encounter a concept that may at first seem paradoxical. It's an idea that challenges our conventional notions of effort and achievement, inviting us to consider a radically different approach to personal growth and mental mastery. This concept suggests that the key to true effectiveness lies not in striving harder, but in aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life. Imagine for a moment a leaf floating on a river. It doesn't fight against the current, nor does it exert effort to move forward. Instead, it simply allows itself to be carried by the water's flow, effortlessly navigating around obstacles and finding its way downstream. Now, picture your mind operating in a similar state of effortless navigation through the complexities of life. This is the essence of the principle we're about to explore. But how can we achieve such a state in our mental processes? How can we move through life with the grace and ease of that leaf on the river, especially when faced with the challenges and complexities of modern existence? These questions lead us to a profound concept from ancient Eastern philosophy that has surprising relevance to our journey of systems thinking and mental mastery. This concept is known as Wu Wei, a term from Taoist philosophy that literally translates to non-doing or non-action. But don't let this translation mislead you. Wu Wei is not about passivity or inaction. Rather, it's about acting in alignment with the natural flow of things, achieving maximum effect with minimum effort. In the context of systems thinking and mental mastery, Wu Wei offers a powerful framework for approaching our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It suggests that instead of constantly striving to control and manipulate our mental states, we can learn to work with the natural rhythms and patterns of our minds. This approach can lead to a more effortless and effective way of navigating our internal and external worlds. But what does Wu Wei look like in practice? How can we apply this ancient concept to our modern lives and our quest for mental mastery? The key lies in developing a deep awareness of the natural rhythms and tendencies of our minds and the systems we're part of. This awareness begins with mindful observation. Take a moment right now to tune into your thoughts and feelings. Notice how they arise and pass away, like waves on the ocean. Observe how your mind naturally moves from one thought to another without you needing to exert effort to make this happen. This natural flow of mental activity is a perfect example of Wu Wei in action within your own mind. Extending this principle to our actions and interactions with the world, Wu Wei invites us to find the path of least resistance in our endeavors. This doesn't mean always taking the easy way out. Rather, it's about recognizing when we're pushing against the natural flow and learning to align our efforts more harmoniously with the currents of life. For example, have you ever noticed how some days certain tasks seem to flow effortlessly, while on other days the same tasks feel like an uphill battle? Wu Wei suggests that instead of forcing ourselves to work against our natural rhythms, we can learn to recognize and capitalize on those moments of natural flow. To put this into practice, try this exercise. For the next week, pay close attention to your energy levels and mental states throughout each day. Notice when you feel naturally alert and focused and when you feel more sluggish or distracted. Then try to align your tasks with these natural rhythms. Tackle your most challenging work when you feel naturally energized and use lower energy periods for less demanding tasks or rest. Another way to incorporate Wu Wei into your life is through engaging in flow activities. These are activities where you become so absorbed that you lose track of time and self-consciousness. It might be playing a musical instrument, engaging in a sport, or even getting lost in a good book. When you're in a state of flow, you're experiencing Wu Wei, effortless action that arises naturally from your engagement with the task at hand. As you begin to incorporate these principles into your daily life, you're likely to notice some immediate benefits. You may experience reduced mental stress as you learn to work with, rather than against, your natural rhythms. You might find increased ease in your daily actions as you learn to recognize and capitalize on moments of natural flow. With continued practice, you may develop an enhanced ability to achieve your goals with less effort and more satisfaction. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or need to exert effort, but you may find that your efforts become more effective as they align more closely with the natural flow of your mind and your environment. In the best-case scenario, embracing Wu Wei can lead to a life where your actions feel effortless and aligned with both your personal rhythms and the larger rhythms of the world around you. This alignment can result in a deep sense of well-being and effectiveness that sustains itself over time. Of course, as with any powerful concept, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of when working with Wu Wei. One common misunderstanding is interpreting Wu Wei as pure passivity or laziness. Remember, Wu Wei is not about doing nothing. It's about finding the most effective way of doing things. Another challenge can be the difficulty in letting go of control. Our culture often emphasizes the importance of effort and willpower, making it challenging to trust in a more effortless approach. Overcoming this conditioning takes time and practice. To navigate these challenges, it's crucial to continually reinforce your understanding of Wu Wei as a principle of alignment rather than inaction. Regular mindfulness practice can help you develop the awareness needed to recognize opportunities for effortless action. And remember, Wu Wei is not about never exerting effort. It's about learning when effort is needed and when it's counterproductive. As we conclude this exploration of Wu Wei, you might find yourself looking at your thoughts, actions, and challenges in a new light. How might embracing this principle of effortless action change your approach to personal growth and mental mastery? What new possibilities might open up as you learn to align more closely with the natural flow of your mind and your environment? The journey of mastering your mind through systems thinking continues to unfold, revealing new depths of wisdom and possibility. As we move forward, we'll encounter a concept that might seem at odds with everything we've discussed so far. This next idea invites us to explore the role of unpredictability and chance in our quest for mental mastery. Are you ready to discover how embracing uncertainty could be the key to unlocking new levels of creativity and adaptability in your mental landscape? The next chapter holds the promise of a perspective shift that could revolutionize your approach to personal growth and self-organization. Chapter 8. Utilize randomness and chance. As we continue our journey into mastering the mind through systems thinking, we encounter a concept that might initially seem counterintuitive. After all, haven't we been working towards creating order, understanding patterns, and gaining control over our mental landscape? Yet, there's a powerful tool for personal growth and mental mastery that thrives on the opposite of order and control. It's an approach that invites us to loosen our grip, to welcome the unexpected, and to find opportunity in the unplanned. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a vast, lush garden. You've carefully tended to it, pruning here, watering there, creating neat rows and orderly arrangements. But what if the key to making this garden truly flourish lies not in more careful planning, but in allowing a bit of wildness to creep in? What if the most vibrant blooms and unexpected delights come not from your careful cultivation, but from seeds carried on the wind, planted by chance? This metaphor gives us a glimpse into the power of randomness and chance in our mental landscape. But how can we harness this power? How can we invite beneficial chaos into our carefully ordered minds without losing our way entirely? These questions lead us to explore a fascinating aspect of systems thinking that embraces the unexpected as a catalyst for growth and innovation. At its core, randomness is the absence of pattern or predictability. It's the roll of dice, the shuffle of cards, the unexpected encounter that changes the course of your day. In the context of our minds, randomness represents those moments of spontaneity, those flashes of insight that seem to come from nowhere, those chance occurrences that lead us down unexpected paths. But why is randomness important in systems thinking and personal development? The answer lies in the nature of complex systems, including our minds. Over time, any system tends to fall into established patterns and routines. While these patterns can be efficient, they can also lead to stagnation. Our thoughts can get stuck in ruts, our behaviors can become rigid, and our perspective can narrow. This is where randomness comes in. By introducing elements of chance and unpredictability into our mental processes, we can break these established patterns. It's like shaking up a snow globe. The settled particles are disturbed, creating new configurations and revealing new perspectives. In personal development, this disruption of established patterns can lead to increased creativity, enhanced problem-solving abilities, and greater adaptability. It helps us see beyond our usual perspectives, consider options we might otherwise overlook, and make connections between seemingly unrelated ideas. But how do we practically apply this concept of randomness to our quest for mental mastery? One approach is through what I call random experimentation. This involves deliberately introducing elements of chance into your routine or decision-making process. For example, you might use a random number generator to choose which task to tackle first from your to-do list. Or you could use a deck of cards to assign different activities to different suits, shuffling the deck to determine your schedule for the day. These small injections of randomness can help break you out of your usual patterns, potentially leading to new insights or more efficient ways of working. Another powerful tool is what I call serendipity practice. This involves cultivating a mindset that's open to unexpected opportunities and chance encounters. It's about being willing to follow your curiosity, to explore new paths, and to see potential in the unplanned moments of your day. To put this into practice, try this exercise. For the next week, commit to saying yes to one unexpected opportunity each day. It might be accepting an invitation you'd usually decline, taking a different route to work, or striking up a conversation with a stranger. The key is to open yourself up to experiences outside your usual routine. As you engage in these practices, you're likely to notice some immediate benefits. You may experience an increase in creativity as your mind is exposed to new stimuli and forced to make new connections. You might find yourself becoming more flexible in your thinking, better able to adapt to unexpected situations. With continued practice, you may start to experience regular insights and breakthroughs that lead to personal growth. You might find solutions to long-standing problems emerging seemingly out of nowhere, or discover new passions and interests you never knew you had. In the best-case scenario, embracing randomness and chance can lead to a life enriched by creativity, flexibility, and the ability to adapt and thrive in changing circumstances. You might develop a sense of ease with uncertainty, seeing it not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth and discovery. Of course, as with any powerful tool, there are potential pitfalls to be aware of when working with randomness. One common mistake is becoming over-reliant on chance, neglecting the importance of structure and intentionality in personal growth. Another risk is confusing randomness with aimlessness, losing sight of your goals and values in the pursuit of novelty. To navigate these challenges, it's important to maintain a balance between randomness and structure. Use randomness as a tool for breaking patterns and stimulating creativity, but always within the context of your broader goals and values. Regularly review the outcomes of your random experiments and serendipitous encounters, reflecting on how they align with your personal growth objectives. Remember, the goal isn't to live a completely random life, but to use elements of randomness to enrich your existing systems and strategies for personal growth. Think of it as adding spice to a well-prepared meal. A little goes a long way in enhancing the overall experience. As we conclude this exploration of randomness and chance, you might find yourself looking at the unexpected events in your life with new eyes. How might embracing a bit more randomness shake up your mental patterns and open new avenues for growth? What insights and opportunities might be waiting for you just outside your usual routines and thought patterns? The journey of mastering your mind through systems thinking continues to unfold, revealing ever more nuanced and powerful approaches to personal growth. As we move forward, we'll explore a concept that ties together all we've learned, offering a perspective on mental mastery that is both profound and deeply practical. Are you ready to discover how the interplay of order and chaos, structure and spontaneity can lead to a harmonious and dynamic mental landscape? The next chapter holds the key to synthesizing all we've explored, promising a holistic approach to mental mastery that could transform your understanding of personal growth and self-organization. Chapter 9, The Harmony of Complexity. As we reach the culmination of our journey through the landscape of systems thinking and mental mastery, we find ourselves standing at a vantage point that offers a breathtaking view of the terrain we've traversed. From here, we can see how each concept we've explored, each strategy we've learned, fits into a greater whole. It's a moment to pause, to reflect, and to appreciate the intricate dance of order and chaos that characterizes our minds and our lives. Throughout this book, we've delved into various aspects of systems thinking, each offering a unique perspective on how to navigate the complexities of our mental landscape. We've explored how to recognize nonlinearities, balance short-term and long-term perspectives, apply systems archetypes, analyze systemic risks, align our actions with integrity, embrace the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, and utilize randomness and chance. Each of these approaches has provided us with tools to better understand and influence the complex system that is our mind. But the true power of systems thinking lies not in the individual strategies, but in how they work together, creating a harmonious approach to personal growth and mental mastery. This harmony of complexity is the key to unlocking your full potential, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with grace, adaptability, and profound insight. By mastering systems thinking, you've gained the ability to see beyond surface-level phenomena, to understand the deeper structures and patterns that shape your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This newfound perspective empowers you to navigate the complexities of your mind with confidence. Where once you might have felt overwhelmed by the chaos of your thoughts or the intensity of your emotions, you now have the tools to understand these as part of a larger system, one that you can influence and guide. This mastery extends beyond your internal world, profoundly impacting your relationships and interactions with others. As you've learned to recognize patterns in your own mind, you've likely become more attuned to the patterns in others' behaviors and in the dynamics of your relationships. This enhanced understanding allows for more meaningful and harmonious interactions. You're better equipped to communicate clearly, to empathize deeply, and to navigate conflicts with wisdom and compassion. Moreover, the systems thinking approach you've cultivated opens up new possibilities for achievement and personal growth. Goals that once seemed insurmountable now appear as complex but manageable systems that you can influence and navigate. Whether it's a professional ambition, a personal development goal, or a creative project, you now have the tools to break it down into its component parts, understand the relationships between these parts, and develop strategies for achieving your desired outcomes. As you continue to practice and integrate the concepts from this book, you'll likely find that your ability to apply these principles becomes increasingly effortless. What once required conscious effort and deliberate practice will become second nature. You'll find yourself naturally recognizing patterns, considering long-term consequences, aligning your actions with your values, and embracing both structure and spontaneity in your approach to life. This journey towards effortless mastery is itself a beautiful example of the ongoing process of self-organization that lies at the heart of systems thinking. Your mind, as a complex adaptive system, is constantly evolving, reorganizing itself in response to new information and experiences. By consciously engaging with this process through the principles of systems thinking, you're guiding your own evolution, shaping your mind into an ever more effective and harmonious system. But how do we maintain this balance and continue to reap the benefits of systems thinking in our daily lives? The key lies in regular reflection and adjustment. Just as any complex system requires ongoing maintenance and fine-tuning, so too does your mental system need consistent attention and care. One practical way to do this is through a regular systems review. Set aside time periodically, perhaps weekly or monthly, to reflect on how you're applying systems thinking principles in your life. Are you maintaining a balance between short-term actions and long-term goals? Are you recognizing and working with the archetypes and patterns in your thoughts and behaviors? Are you aligning your actions with your values and ethical principles? Use these reviews as an opportunity to celebrate your progress and to identify areas for further growth. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, but continuous improvement and adaptation. Embrace the journey of ongoing self-organization, trusting in the process of growth and change. Another powerful practice is to actively integrate systems thinking principles into your daily routines. This might involve starting your day with a moment of mindful observation, noticing the patterns in your thoughts and emotions. Or it could mean applying the concept of leverage points to your work, identifying where small actions can lead to significant positive changes. Look for opportunities to practice Wu Wei, finding ways to align your efforts with the natural flow of your mind and your environment. As you continue to apply and integrate these principles, you may find yourself experiencing moments of profound clarity and insight. These are the moments when the harmony of complexity reveals itself, when you can see the intricate connections between different aspects of your life and mind with startling clarity. These moments of revelation can be deeply satisfying, offering a sense of coherence and purpose that enriches every aspect of your life. But perhaps the most profound benefit of mastering systems thinking is the sense of empowerment and agency it provides. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, systems thinking offers a way to find order without imposing rigidity, to influence without controlling, to adapt without losing your center. It allows you to dance with the complexity of life, to move with grace and purpose through the ever-changing landscape of your mind and your world. As we conclude this journey, it's important to remember that the path of systems thinking and mental mastery is not a destination, but an ongoing process of growth and discovery. Each new challenge you face, each new insight you gain, becomes an opportunity to deepen your understanding and refine your approach. The principles and strategies you've learned are not static tools, but living concepts that will grow and evolve with you. You stand now at the threshold of a new way of being, armed with powerful tools for understanding and navigating the complexities of your mind and your world. The journey ahead is full of potential, rich with opportunities for growth, discovery, and profound satisfaction. As you step forward into this new chapter of your life, remember that you carry within you the harmony of complexity, a dynamic balance of order and chaos, structure, and spontaneity that will serve you well in whatever challenges and adventures lie ahead. The mastery of your mind through systems thinking is not just a personal achievement, it's a gift to the world. As you navigate life with greater clarity, purpose, and harmony, you contribute to the well-being of all the systems you're part of, from your immediate relationships to the broader community and beyond. Your journey of personal growth becomes a force for positive change in the world. So go forth with confidence, curiosity, and compassion. Embrace the complexity of life, dance with the chaos, and trust in your ability to find harmony amidst it all. The world needs the unique gifts that your mastered mind can offer. Your journey of systems thinking and mental mastery has only just begun, and the possibilities that lie ahead are as vast and exciting as the complex, beautiful system of your own magnificent mind. But knowledge alone isn't enough. The true power lies in application. How can you ensure that the insights you've gained translate into tangible changes in your life? There's a crucial skill that bridges the gap between understanding and action. To truly leverage the power of systems thinking, you need to master the art of critical thinking and decision-making. Discover how to turn your newfound insights into real-world results with the audiobook From Insight to Action: Practical Critical Thinking Techniques. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.